What's up, guys? It's Alec from Team APS with my brand new Lunalight Onomatopoeia deck profile. This has been a fairly fun deck for me. It has like competitive applications, but I just really want to build a deck that was kind of a little off the beaten path. Though it did end up topping in that UDS, I did incorporate the elements of that deck into mine. So let's check it out. So first up, the most important card.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay, first up, the most important card is Lunalight Tiger. You have to run it at 3. This card does not have hard once per turns on its effects, so that you can play it and revive your Lunalights as many times as you can play it. It's a great card. If you see 2 in your hand, it's even better. You see 1, it's fine. It's the blood of this deck. Next up is the enabler. I guess the main combo piece is Yellow Marten. Yellow Marten can search out a Lunalight spell from your deck. This is how you get Serenade Dance. And it's just very easy to send the graveyard to get that effect with Lunalight Kaleido-Chick. Kaleido-Chick, when it's summoned, will send a Lunalight from deck to grave. So it's usually Yellow Marten just so you can get that effect. I'm only running 1 Kaleido-Chick because I don't like sitting in my hands as much because I want to use my normal summon on the Utopia stuff. And your Lunalights really don't need it. The last Lunalight is Emerald Bird. Emerald Bird will special summon another Lunalight when it's sent to graveyard. So on those like turn 2 situations or like heavily extended or maybe overextended first turns, you can send this one to get another summon of like Yellow Marten or Kaleido-Chick. Now into the Utopia stuff. First up, Utopic Onomatopoeia. I run at 3 because these are the guys I want to use my normal summon on. They kind of need it, but once you do, they're great. So he counts as all the other Onomatopoeia types. So he's a Zubababa and a Gagaga and a Dododo and a Go-Go-Go monster. When he's summoned, you can special summon those other types from your hand. Though he locks you in Xyz summoning, but this deck is all about Xyz summoning, so that's perfectly fine. Now into his favorite targets. 2-in-1, Zubababa, Bancho, Gagaga Coat, and Dododo Dwarf, Go-Go-Go Glove. So Zubaba Bancho can special summon itself from the hand if you control a Zubababa or Gagaga monster. Of course, that means you'd have to have him on the field, unless you have him, who counts as everything. So you don't actually have to use his effect to summon him from hand. You can just use his effect, and you're not going to be locked into Xyz summons. Also, Dododo Dwarf Go-Go Glove can special summon itself from the grave if you control a Dododo or Go-Go monster. I only run 1 because all 3 copies of him still count as that. So these monsters work in tandem together to make their own Xyz engine alongside the Lunalight stuff, so that you have baits and plays for days. My important hand trap, Psyframe Gear Gamma. Yes, this deck is kind of casual, but I like to win, so I play Lambda, which lets me use him on my opponent's turn while I control monsters. So it's extremely powerful, and then both it and Driver become useful for Link summons and even Xyz summons. I'll show you later. Next up is Magician Souls. Yeah, it's not budget. I never said it was budget. I did not claim that. But we had him for the Dark Magician theme duel, so I figured we put him in here too. This card is just an excellent extender. I should mention this is the spellcaster we throw. She doesn't really matter. It's just to get the summon because Magician Souls does let us dig through our deck. It's a free body. There's nothing wrong with this card, and as long as it's legal, it's going to see play in all sorts of decks, not just Spiral, not just Dark Magician. And then my last 2 extenders, 1 searchable, 1 not. Blackwing Zephyros the Elite can be searched with, what's his name? The Raid Raptor Force Strix can search Zephyros the Elite, so all you have to do is get him in the graveyard to get his effect. He can even bounce Lunalight Tiger back to your hand so you can get another use of Tiger. So you can use this thing maybe 3 turns if you use him as well, or 3 times. And then Luna the Dark Spirit, another extender. You banish a dark from grave, summon her. Her effect doesn't really matter. She's just a level 4 body that's just useful. That's the monster lineup. That's all you really need. For spells, Lunalight Perfume. Its first effect special summons Lunalight from the grave. That's great, and I love it, but that's not really why we run it. Its grave effect will search Lunalight to your hand. Now that's the master plan. That's what we like to see. Because on turns where we do need to see Kaleido Chick in hand, we can get it. But especially Tiger. If we can get multiple copies of this card, that's perfectly fine. Tanky, because the Lunalights are mostly all Beast Warriors. I think only Emerald Bird isn't. It's a great card, and it's another target for Magician Soul's draw effect. Then I run Onomatopoeia Pickup. So, number 1, it is a target for Magician Souls, but also it can search an Onomato card. Where is he? There he is. So that's Utopic Onomatopoeia, and the next card, Onomatopoeia, which I'll get into next, are its targets. Also, it can make any of your monsters the same level as one of your Onomatopoeia monsters. So if you have this guy or the other one, you can make any monster level 4, even a Magician Souls. Its main search target is Onomatopoeia. It's so advantageous. This card can add up to 2 monsters that fit in these 4 categories. A Subababa, Gagaga, Dododo, or what's that last one? Go monster. So it's a +1. You get 2 monsters to hand, and with all the discard effects in this deck, you can immediately start making use of them. It's very, very beautiful when it all goes off. And it kind of makes you invulnerable to Ash. All the different types of searching we do, one Ash can't stop us. Now one Droll, that's a whole other story. Now this is the best card in the deck. Foolish Burial of Goods. Sending the Lunalight spells to grave is everything. It gets you started. If you can send Serenade Dance to the grave, I'll get into it. That's so important to this deck, to making the strongest boards that you can. I love that this is at 3. And honestly, in this deck, it's just as good as Foolish Burial. Speaking of which, 1 Foolish Burial, because we do like getting these guys in grave. Either we can send the Dododo Dwarf or a Yellow Martin to something that'll play in grave. Or Zephyros the Elite. Then my 1-ofs, or the rest of the 1-ofs. Double or Nothing, because I do play Utopia Double. He's a strong OTK. Then 1 Dododo Draw, because I do run 4 targets for this card. Yes, 4 targets. It discards 1, draws 2, works perfectly. And last, but certainly not least, I think one of the most expensive cards outside of Magician Souls, Lunalight Serenade Dance. This is pivotal. It's a 1-of. Its on-field effect doesn't really matter. All that matters is its grave effect, which will special summon a Lunalight monster from your deck. Oh, it's so important. It's all about not using your normal summon on Lunalight monsters. And if you can search out the Tiger and special summon out the Kaleido Chick, the deck just pops off from there. This is the most important card right here. And that's it for the main deck. It's essentially just one big engine to making rank 4s. So, first up with the extra deck is Gravity Controller, Link 1. He can be made by just using any non-Link monster in the extra monster zone. So there will be times where you just make Xyz monsters, and they're going to take up your zone. He frees that zone, and he's invulnerable in battle with monsters in the main monster zones. And if he gets in battle with a monster from the extra monster zone, he'll bounce himself and that monster back to the deck. Next up is Lambda, crucial to your first turn plays, because when you banish a psychic monster, he searches out a Gamma. We play Redoer, that's our psychic. If you've seen a Lunalight Time Thief deck, then you know how this works. When he has a monster attached, he banishes himself. That activates his effect. On the end phase, you get the Gamma, and now you have a negate on top of the crazy board you're going to build, and you will build it. Then IP Masquerena, there's another piece to that board that we make. We run it alongside Nightmare Unicorn. We all know how powerful it is to summon a unicorn during your opponent's turn. We don't mind discarding. This is a great, great play. One Sorry Scoldred, because we do get that many monsters on board. That extension and that consistency that it brings to the deck is just... It's amazing. It's really not overextending to see this card. And then into the Xyz. So we'll get rid of these guys early. Utopia and Utopia Double. Utopia Double, you know, he searches double or nothing. Your Utopia ends up with like 10,000 attack, and if he swings into a monster in attack position, that's pretty much game. The problem is he doesn't protect himself, so that's why we run everything else. So, I already mentioned Time Thief Redoer, but the other kind of early Xyz we like to run is Daguerreus, the Timeless. So Daguerreus is really fun. He can detach both his materials to get one of 3 effects, but the effects have like pretty steep costs. He can let you draw 2 cards and discard 1, but you have to skip your next draw phase. He can double a monster's attack, but then you have to skip your next battle phase. And, if I get this right, he can special summon a monster from your graveyard in defense position. But you have to skip your next main phase. So, he's a mixed bag. Usually you can just use him to get the draw because we search so much, we're not going to miss our draw phase. And he lets you immediately get things like Yellow Martin into the grave, because when you use Yellow Martin's effect, especially summon it from the grave, it will get banished when it leaves the field. So you can just overlay it into either Redoer or Daguerreus, immediately activate their effects, and then because they were detached, it goes to the grave and it stays in circulation. Next up we have is Evil Swarm Exciton Knight. He's just very useful, because as long as your opponent controls more cards than you, you can attempt to blow up all other cards in the field, and you can do this once per chain. So if your opponent's not paying attention, you can beat them out. And then important combo piece, Force Strix. This is the one that searches Zephyros the Elite. That's all he's here for. He's useful. Tornado Dragon. There's a lot of decks where he's very useful for. Blowing up back row is very good. Baguska is the most questionable card in here, just because there's a lot of decks that can just summon a Lake Monster to get over him. But if they can't, he's very useful when you end up in a brick hand. Abyss Dweller, one of the main monsters you make going first. Cutting off the graveyard is always useful in just about every matchup. And last, and maybe least, Castel, the Sky Blaster. He just gets rid of a card. That's the long and short of it. Just helps me out things. And that's it for my Onomatopoeia Lunalight deck. I've had a lot of fun with it. If you guys want to see my next creation, which is a bit more traditional, I'm going with Lunalight Time Thieves. Let me know in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Pass turn.